Adobe just announced a massive partnership. Blender CEO has officially stepped down, and has AI retopology finally arrived? It's Motion Mondays, and if you want to know how to be successful in 2026, it's quite simple. Just make shit. So maybe we've all been overthinking how we can go viral. It turns out you just need to animate on a toilet. Well, not like that, like projection mapping animation on a toilet. Nick Greenawalt has been doing just this with his projection mapping videos, and they have been blowing up with millions of views on Instagram. He's put an incredibly refreshing spin on how he can present motion design and show personality. His projection mapping videos have gotten so big, he actually decided to make a video tutorial on how to make all these viral projection mapping performances, I guess you could say. His tutorial breaks down the beginner-friendly approach using a basic projector and Mad Mapper software. You can see how he uses a grid to map to the surface of whatever object he's projecting onto, and the Mad Mapper software has some built-in effects that actually makes this whole thing surprisingly accessible. So yeah, After Effects artists can finally get into the interactive world of projection mapping without a massive cost. Now Nick is super creative with how he markets himself and does all this viral stuff. He's always thinking outside of the box and putting his name out there in creative ways, so definitely check out his work. It's going to be fun to see where he takes this concept. Now, if you're familiar with the delay effector in Cinema 4D, you're going to love this new After Effects plugin called Delay Motion Pro. It's sort of like having the Cinema 4 delay effector inside of After Effects. It creates easy follow through and overlapping action on things like hair strands and character animation. So what you do is you can apply this effect to one layer and create your animation. It automatically applies all that overlapping action with chain parenting happening automatically. So super handy for applying that secondary animation. You can grab this script over at AE Scripts and AE Plugins. Now time for some School of Motion news. We just surpassed 3,300 students, which is incredible. It's always awesome to see how much activity is on our forums. Everyone's growing, everyone's learning together, everyone's smashing their New Year's resolutions to up their motion design skills. And speaking of activity, we have a community live stream coming up on January 15th where Joey will be joined alongside Guido Rosso, co-founder and CEO of Rive. Guido's going to walk us through one of Rive's coolest new features, data binding. And this is actually going to be a topic we're going to teach in our next Rive course. So you'll learn exactly what data binding is and how powerful it can be for your projects. And speaking of courses, the next one dropping is our Intro to Substance Painter, taught by yours truly. I'm super excited for it. It's such a cool app and such an easy way to level up all of your material skills. Maxon just dropped Cinebench 2026, a free tool that tests your CPU and GPU's might using Cinema 4D's Redshift engine. It's a great way to see how well your setup does rendering-wise. It also supports Apple Silicon with M4 and M5 systems, so go ahead, test out your computer and see how well your 10-year-old laptop does. Will it catch fire? There's only one way to find out. Now, Maxon might have been in the news in a good way for Cinebench, but they also got a lot of coverage last week for all the wrong reasons. They teased this new tool called Digital Twin, and it had a mention of AI-generated backgrounds in the tweets with not a lot of context for what exactly it was. And like the internet does, it responded to this vague AI news with complete level-headedness and tact. No. So whatever it is, they're showing this at CES, and apparently that's the only place you can actually see what this digital twin technology does. The vagueness really did not help them here, as AI is already a divisive topic and people are going to assume the worst. And they did. It just shows how divisive AI is, and Maxon didn't do themselves any favors by keeping people in the dark, because people want to know, is this going to actually help them, or is this just another AI gimmick? I guess we'll see. Now, our student of the week is Harini Araso, who just completed a really awesome illustration for Photoshop and Illustrator Unleashed. They say that drawing their little mushroom house and then recreating it in Illustrator was such a fun and empowering experience. They learned techniques they never imagined they could use, and they feel much more confident in creating their own artwork. It's always great seeing students gain real confidence, learn professional workflows, and realize how much fun bringing their ideas to life can be. So congrats, Harini. A while back, it was announced that Blender founder and CEO Ton Roosendaal was stepping down, and now it's official. He's passed the torch to Francesco Cidi, the former CEO of the Blender Foundation and its new CEO. Alongside other board members, they've reiterated their commitment to keeping Blender's core values intact. They're going to maintain that Blender is going to remain free and open source. They're going to keep innovating and keep the train going the way it is. So it's a sad day when the founder moves on, but Blender seems to be alive and well and is probably going to kick even more butt in 2026 with the new leaders in charge. Everybody needs to make the logo bigger, but what about your monitor? Dell just announced at CES the very first ever 52-inch 6K monitor. Linus Tech Tips reviewed it, and this is a big honkin' monitor. The resolution is a massive 6144 by 2560. It's got a lot of ports and an eco-friendly design. The price tag is going to be around $2,800, but if you're getting that massive high resolution with excellent color accuracy, seems to be worth every penny. Now, I'm a motion designer that has dual monitors. I feel like having one this big, just one massive one, would be super nice. Having that much screen real estate, and I can have even more social media feeds going to distract me throughout the day. Now, what I would love to know, are you team dual monitor or team single screen? Let me know in the comments. All right, now it's time to highlight some cool work from around the interwebs. First up is Moth Studio's work for Zoe. They've used Rive to create all the interactive animations and UI for this gut health app. Much like how Duolingo has its mascot, Zoe also has this mascot called Ziggy, this cute little sparky character that guides users through their gut health journey. They designed a whole microbiome garden to explore, which really brings the science to life and infuses the in-app experience with playfulness and character. Just another example of how Rive is just taking over the world and cropping up all over the place. Next up is a new reel by Stephen Ong, a great example of putting you in your reel. I really love the short and sweet intro. It's in square dimension too, short and sweet, reel's only 39 seconds long, but it shows the personality off the top with that super cool retro pixel animation. Definitely a great example of how to market yourself in 2026, and a great example of an artist with taste that can apply that to whatever discipline they need to. Next up, we've got a new show reel from School of Motion alumni and one of my friends, Marina Nakagawa. She is amazing. I really love her work. She killed it when she took all of our C4D classes here and actually has transitioned into Blender these days. No matter what 3D app she's using though, she's killing it because she's an amazing artist with a great sense of style and design. No matter what happens with AI, artists like Marina, who have that really good taste and style, are going to be killing it no matter what tool comes out. And finally, our very own Aaron Rabinowitz and also our resident Star Wars nerd shared this Star Wars Beggar's Canyon fan film made with AI. So Disney has these thousands of artists and a massive CG team, and then you see this. And this Luke Skywalker actually looks even better than that digital twin they created in The Mandalorian because this isn't face replacement, it's purely AI generated. And it's one of the best Star Wars things I've seen in a while. I mean, I guess the bar isn't that high. Have you seen Boba Fett? Ugh. But it shows that storytelling is what really matters. If you have vision, you have taste, you can make something that looks as good as Hollywood. As always, you can check out all these works by checking out the links in the description. Adobe just announced it's launching a multi-year strategic partnership with Runway. Now, this feels to me a little bit like they've realized they're a little bit behind with their Adobe Firefly model. And since they introduced other AI partner models inside of Firefly and Photoshop, I think people have realized that the Firefly models probably got left in the dust a little bit. So this partnership will give you access to cutting edge features like Runway Gen 4.5, accessible exclusively in Adobe Firefly before it gets the full public release. This should have a lot of benefits for Creative Cloud subscribers because you'll get access to all this new Runway stuff first. And Runway is actually incredible with adding motion and physics, animating stills, and creating videos. Now, the evangelists on the Adobe team have been showing some really cool stuff, like Geo showing ways you can use Adobe boards to make stills, bring them to life using Runway. And Wes McDermott, who I'm a huge fan of, is always showing really cool stuff on how to generate models, use AI-generated footage as backplates, and even showing how to track those backplates in After Effects and really demonstrating how you can integrate all this AI stuff alongside the tools we already use. So going to be interesting how to see this partnership shakes out, but it's pretty exciting for anyone trying to figure out how to integrate AI alongside all of the Adobe products they use. Now, one of the big things I always talk about that I wish AI could replace is the laborious task of retopology. Well, Tencent just released Hunyuan 3D Studio 1.1 with the new PolyGen 1.5 model, and this looks pretty big. This is the best example of quad dominant retopology that I've ever seen that's AI generated. So there's no guides really needed. It's automatically aware of the flow of your model and even handles hard surface loops, which was always difficult. I mean, these examples are some of the best AI retopo I've seen anywhere. And it really gives me hope that manual retopology is a thing of the past because it's something that's not super fun or creative. It's very technical, and you just wish that if the robot overlords could take anything out of our hands, it would be that, so we could focus on the stuff that we enjoy doing as artists. From retopo to mocap, a lot of people wonder if generative AI will actually replace motion capture in 2026. And this article from Rokoko, who develops awesome high-end mocap suits, is saying, hold your horses. While generative AI can be great for some things, it can break down where you need flexibility. If you don't have a true 3D performance, they say, you can't change the angles, you can't revisit it from any other angle, and this is what mocap can bring to the table. There was actually a really great video from Matt Workman from Cinematography Database, who's on the cutting edge of mixing AI generative stuff alongside cinematography applications, and he shows examples of the benefits of mocap because you can get exactly what you want versus just AI outputs. So according to Rokoko, mocap is not dead and still has a place in production pipelines, and I'd have to agree. Until AI gives you all the control of an actual character rig, mocap's not going anywhere. And finally, PJ Richardson from Laundry Studio alerted us to this website called SearchSystem, which is a design reference site that is a growing collection of references and tools for designers curated by Julian Van Havre, founder of Design Practice and Type Foundry. You can search for specific things and see all the very designery references related to your search. Apparently no pugs on this site, but we need to change that. But being pugless aside, it's a really cool search system for design references to get better design ideas and inspiration for your projects. And that is it for this week's Motion Mondays. As always, links to all the stories will be in the description, and be sure to subscribe to All Access so you can join our exclusive Rive live stream and check out all the new courses that are coming out this year. Now I need to go. I need to project some animations on a urinal because I need to go viral. So you have a great week, and I'll see you next time.